Here.
This third year. Third
Going
year.
on 3 years.
Yeah.
3 years?
Third
Okay.
year.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. So every little piece is. I'll have to take you upstairs so you can see.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a couple rooms upstairs, more art. So.
Figured it was levels to it.
Yeah, but I like it myself. It's about
I like
time to
this
switch it
table
up.
too. These are nice, and I see the chairs match it. It's a whole nice.
So-
Thank you.
An artist by the name of Chazzy Shepherd, she did the table too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out Chazzy.
It's crazy. I was just watching this
They
video.
had a cool world in it, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You don't see it in there. I think BLK's over there. Yeah, we got it in there a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was just watching this video of this artist making a table. It was really dope how she was doing it. She was just taking like different colors of paint from the bucket and just pouring strips of it, and then took a blow dryer and like went over it to kind of give it this splattered kind of look, and then just kind of tilted the table, let it dry, and went over it with like a gloss. And it was beautiful.
Yeah.
We gonna unbox. You know what I'm saying? That's what we usually do.
Yum, yum, yum.
It's on bim. Let's turn it.
Okay.
You got that recorded?
Yep.
Oh, that was already on? Okay, cool.
Big.
Okay. We back
All right.
again like we never left.
Right?
Man, so before we get to, the cool guest that we have, I'm Willie Millions,
I'm True Davis.
and this is Cool World. Welcome to Cool World.
Welcome.
Happy to be here. Appreciate it.
Yeah, some
Cool
folks
World.
never been,
Look, you gotta be cool.
Hey, you gotta be cool.
You
Hey.
can't play with it. This ain't for everybody.
This ain't for everybody, you know what I mean?
Only the
Yeah, I'm
cool.
honored to be here.
Only the cool.
Right, I appreciate you. We appreciate you coming through.
Thank you.
So, we sitting with this is a new series that we started.
Okay.
It's called Dreamers Create Cool. And it's just a conversation. Don't call it a podcast.
Heard.
It's a cool cast. You feel me?
Cool cast, cool conversation.
Cool
Right.
conversation. So don't think of it as a typical, sit down interview. It's more like we just allowing our community to be involved with a conversation that we
Got
would
it.
normally have.
They here with us. They're at the table.
Exactly,
You know.
with some of the
Welcome.
coolest people that we know. And with that being said, why don't you let the people know who you
introduce
are?
yourself.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. So my name is Mike Haze, also known as Mike Haze Mixology on IG. And I am a hospitality spirits professional, artist, and creator.
Okay.
I like that.
Man.
Artist and creator.
Mixologist is the thing that I heard.
Yeah.
So for folks who don't know what like mixologists mean, like what do you mean by that? Like
So, mixology is kind of like, some people look at it as, you ask some bartenders and they'll be like, I'm just a bartender.
okay.
Because they may look at the word mixologist as a little bit more like, a little like trying to, say something that, elevate something that's fairly simple.
Okay.
But for me, mixology has always been, it's not just bartending. Bartending is showing up at a place, tending a bar, making drinks. When you get into mixology, it's more of fine-tuning your craft. And then you're understanding spirits, you're understanding flavors, you're understanding, what goes together and what, spirits and what cordials and what juices and fruits and, all complement each other. This is mixing.
Okay.
You are becoming a mixologist. You are able to create something from scratch. You are able to create something signature for someone, or you're able to create a beverage menu based off of their food menu that the chef creates. That is mixology.
I love that.
Yes.
So what I hear is it's levels to this thing.
Okay.
It's definitely
You
levels
got
for sure.
You got bartender, then you got star tender, then you got mixologist.
For sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we sitting with a mixologist, a worldwide mixologist at that.
So, like, do you go to school for that, or like it's just?
You know, I did not go to school for
Okay.
it. You know, it's interesting how I even got into bartending. So I started out in the industry as a graphic design and web intern.
Oh wow.
Whoa, so you was in the marketing side of things.
I was, and so I was a web designer and graphic designer for a restaurant group. And it was kind of there at this restaurant group where, you know, they owned about 10 different locations, 10 different concepts. And I was helping them with their marketing, some of their designs. When they were creating new concepts, I was helping with some of the concept development, the logos, the menus, look and feel. But there was one particular place. This was in a little bit of the old Atlanta era. It was a place called Andrews Entertainment District. It was located in Buckhead. Now it's the same places like Yabo Beach House and some other spots are in that area, right?
So was that the bar district?
It was. It was like with Buckhead, it was like really the bar district.
Like where World Bar and all of that, like way back then?
Yeah, not too, a little bit after that, but around the same era.
And all that.
Oh, okay.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like they're nestled away in kind of like the cut from all these different restaurants. There was this like little like red phone booth, like a London style red phone booth. And you step inside this phone booth and there's like this old rotary phone and you dial this number. And then once you dial the correct number, you walk inside and you're like in this swanky kind of 1920s speakeasy, right?
Is that the same one right off of like Piedmont?
So that is now what is known today as Red
phone booth.
It used to be called Prohibition.
Got you.
But now this is like a 2.0 new version that Stephen Hahn, the owner, and kind of elevated and turned it into more of a commercialized and franchised speakeasy.
Okay.
And in that bar, they had a cocktail book that was about thick as this book here, like this thick, right? And it was like 200 of like the most original classic cocktails. And they only made these cocktails the original way that it was made, going back to like the 1800s. You know, cocktail culture goes all the way back to like the early 1800s.
Yeah, folks been getting
Yeah, for sure.
party been going.
Yeah, and so it was there, you know, these guys would tell you like these really cool stories about every cocktail that you ordered. There's beautiful histories and origins to like a lot of cocktails, and they have very unique stories. And it was kind of there where I kind of appreciated the craft and started really wanting to learn more about it. And it was kind of, you know, just watching these guys, I kind of found a new appreciation and almost like a passion for the art of bartending and mixology and hospitality. And I asked the owner, you know, would he mind if I asked one of the bartenders to like start training me? And he was like, sure, good luck, you know, and because these are like OG bartenders, old school guys. And but I was, you know, I asked them, and you know, one of the guys, Jim Weber, Bob Rudy, and Leo, these were like OG bartenders that have been bartending in Atlanta forever. They were like, yeah, you can start setting up our bar and you can start juicing our juices.
So they was like
every morning.
They was like their mentors.
Right, exactly.
They gave you the hazing as
For sure.
You start from the very bottom.
Yeah, exactly. They were like, you see all these bottles on the back bar?
Yeah.
Polish them and make them like glisten like diamonds.
They wanted to know if you were serious or not.
For sure, yeah.
Like, you ain't just gonna come in here and just start making drinks and
Exactly.
getting tips. That's
Right.
That's what they thought.
And you're just gonna try to come in and tap in on our situation.
Right.
But they also knew that this was an art and they took it very seriously. And you know, what I didn't know was while I'm doing all these different things, they kind of like Miyagi'd me. Because like, you know, when I'm thinking like I'm sitting here polishing all these damn bottles on the back bar, you know, they were like, you know what? Where's that bottle of Weller at? Here, third shelf to the left. Okay, where's that Pappy Van Winkle? Oh, it's at the top, fourth bottle. How much is left on it? About 4 ounces. You know, so like I started realizing the little things that they were asking me to do was really training me as a bartender and learning to pick up these little things.
What's up?
But it was kind of there where I learned and found my passion for mixology, and I dedicated my life to just learning more about the craft and everything in it. Because when you're a person that's always on graphic design and websites and stuff like that, I was very much an introvert.
Okay.
I didn't communicate with a lot of people. I had very close friends that I would communicate with, and I was all open with them. But like to new people, I was very much reserved and kind of to myself. And bartending really helped me get out of that.
It definitely opened you up for sure.
You know, yeah,
You gotta
you
talk
sit
to
across the
everybody.
bar, people like, Mike, tell me your life story. I'm like, shit.
Two things for certain that keep the party going is a bartender
and a DJ
and a good DJ.
You know, you got them in the room.
It's a party
It's
for real.
a party for real.
And therapy sessions happen at the barbershop
Yep.
and at the bar.
Yep.
So it's gonna make you get you out of that introverted state.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Definitely. But you know, it changed my life. You know, you know, you heard this saying like closed mouths don't get fed. And meeting people that have some of the same ideas and share the same visions and passions with you, and just finding people that you share commonality, things that you have in common. I never would have knew that, or never would have met some really great friends or business associates that I do business with today if it wasn't for bartending and kind of coming out of that shell.
That's what's
That's
up.
what I hear. Networking.
For sure.
Networking, for sure.
It's important.
It is,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? And, you know, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, where did you go from there though? Like,
So it's been a journey.
I was about to say, because you went. I know the last time, not the last time, but one of the first times I did meet you was at the spirits thing that you were doing.
Atlanta Spirits? Yeah.
At the club where the lights go like this.
Yeah, the district.
Yeah, at the district.
Yeah, so that was kind of like one of my first like dives into wanting to take an industry style event, which is like trade shows, and make it more something that's more for consumer based, meaning for like everybody. Because it's like if you like cocktails and you like to drink and you like to have fun, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the hospitality industry that only kind of like trade people and people within the industry get to experience and see. And one of them is like trade shows. Trade shows is like every year these distributor companies do these annual events where they will like invite all the sales reps and all of the restaurant owners and bar managers and bartenders to come and try new product that they have, try it with a cocktail, sample it with hopes that you would like this and you want to bring it and take it back to your bar. And I used to really love those. 'Cause one, it's a good time because
You get lit.
you get lit, you're trying all this
Right.
new exclusive stuff before like the world gets to see it, and some of the new products. And then sometimes, they even have like bartenders where they'll like, okay, you tried this, now try it with a cocktail, just kind of give you ideas. But I wanted to create that for like, I wanted some of my friends to be able to come to these events, and it was like, you know what if I took a trade show and mixed it with like a music festival?
Yeah.
And also mixed it with like educational seminars. So like whether you're in the industry or whether you just want to learn or be, gain more knowledge on cocktails and spirits and just making cocktails, you can come to this event. So I started Atlanta Spirits Festival.
So you was mixing culture at that point.
Yeah, so I I had big expectations at first. I was like, I want Goody Mob to perform, and I want Jermaine Dupri to be the DJ. And it's like and Luda to come out and do Welcome to Atlanta. But you got to dream big.
Yeah,
if you don't dream big, you just
Dreamers
Dreamers
create
create
cool.
cool.
Yeah,
Now you talking.
Right.
Look,
Yeah, that's our language.
That's
Like,
why
not dream big?
I'm a big dreamer.
Yeah.
Because did that exist before you was like, did you see it somewhere else? Or
I
you
did
was
not.
like,
No.
this is a fresh idea I want to bring to the space?
Yeah, it was something fresh that I wanted to bring to the space, and that also I seen the need of what a lot of these brands needed and wanted, and so they wanted liquid to lips. They wanted people to try their product, and also I tell people all the time, especially like liquor brands and restaurant owners, hey, you can try to force feed what you want to people. But at the end of the day, like a bartender is only going to pour what the person asked for, right? So when you have consumers that are now trying things that they've never tried before, guess what? When they go to the bar, they're going to ask for it.
Exactly.
That's a true fact. Because me and my homeboys, it was Father's Day. And me and my homeboys, we just went out to like brunch. And the bartender was like, yo, I want y'all to try a couple of new things. So she mixed up you know, a couple of new cocktails, and one was a green tea with Jameson in it. We had never had it before. It was like, oh, what is this? You know what I'm saying? And to this day,
that's his drink.
I drink Jameson because of that experience.
Look, I love Jameson. I got put on to Jameson by a brother from another mother, a chef. His name is Chef Scott Lee Ennis.
Shout out to Chef Scott.
Chef Scott.
Yeah. Scott, he's a lover of Jameson,
Okay.
and I, you know, like, you know, when you talk about the journey, you know, the festival was great. I did, you know, it's crazy because I had plans to do it every year, but the next year was COVID.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Like, so that was 2019.
Yeah, it was like, and that kind of just...
COVID then killed everything.
Man, look, COVID,
we can bring it back, though.
We can.
We can bring it back.
And make it cooler, you know?
I'm with that.
You know? But what was crazy is, you know, it was super successful. You came, it was a beautiful event.
It was. I enjoyed myself.
Yeah, I did too. I had a really great time. And so, you know, right after that was COVID. And it was like it was a scary moment because if you were in hospitality, if you were bartending, if you were a waitress, if you were a restaurant owner, everything shut down. And you got people who were like lifers in like bartending and hospitality and restaurant management. And it was a wake up call. Like, didn't know what to do.
Nobody did.
Yeah, for real.
We was in scary times, you know? And, you know, so it was interesting because, you know, I was thinking of a master plan like everybody else, you know? And then, you know, it was scary times in Atlanta too with, you know, some of the things that were going on, you know, with Floyd and, you know, the whole, you know, it was fucking awful.
It turned the city upside down.
Turned the city upside down, you know, and it's crazy because, like, I was, you know, like I said, I started out in media, and like the only thing I could do is like I grabbed my camera and I ran outside and when all this stuff was going on and documented as much as I possibly could.
That's
and I still have it, and I never did anything with it. I have pictures and, you know, great photography and some great videos of like, because I was in the mix of it, and it was sad, you know, and it was terrifying, you know, and it was humbling, and, you know, it was also, you know, just you know, we got so far to go, you know, but one of the reasons I'm in hospitality and why I became in hospitality is just to be a better fucking human being. Because like when you're in hospitality, when you're in the service of people, it teaches you to humble yourself.
It does.
And then it makes you understand that this is more than just myself. And I can't tell you the fulfillment I get of making a person a cocktail and they trying it and the look on their face and they're like, oh, this is amazing. Like I feel like at least I gave them a moment, you know, or something that they like or appreciate, you know.
An experience.
Yeah. And because like in hospitality, you know, many waitresses, waiters, bartenders, owners, when people come into your restaurant, you don't know what they're there for. This could be an anniversary. This could be a birthday. This could be something special, celebration. And if you ruin that moment by shitty service, excuse my language, or just poor hospitality, you really ruin that moment.
You do.
You know? And it's real. People don't really get what hospitality really means. You know? You're in the service of others.
Get out of the business if you are not in it for that.
Get out.
Hey, man, no, these folks in Atlanta, the hospitality is vacant. You know what I mean?
Man.
The food is decent. You know, the spaces are top tier because they're gonna put
put some money into it,
the decor and make sure everything is looking good. But the hospitality is the part that's lacking. You know what I mean?
The service.
So
we got a plan to help with that. We working on a plan for the city.
when you say we,
it's a collective.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a collective.
We like collectives.
Yeah, it's a collective group of like-minded individuals who are coming together to want to see a better, greater hospitality community in Atlanta.
Okay.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, kick that off ASAP. We tired of spending money, and then the monkey wrench that they put into the game is they don't earn their tips anymore.
Oh yeah, they just
Tips
put
is
the tips
included.
20 automatically. 20%.
22%.
We went to one spot,
Yes.
it was 25%.
We was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And now you don't have to work for it now. It's
you
just
ain't
like,
even checked on us.
Right.
You didn't even see how our food was, you know. So
because you know you're going to get your money. So it's like, boo.
shout out to that collective. We need y'all ASAP.
Can't wait for y'all to do whatever y'all going to do.
and part of, you know, what I wanted to like segue to, we had a recent guest on Dreamers Create Cool, Double O, Ian, Ordinary Odds.
Yes, sir.
And he spoke highly of the event that you all curated.
Yeah.
It was a collaboration that we kind of assisted with.
Thank you for
It was
that.
you all with the NBA, and it was a sneaker ball.
Yep.
But when I say you all, can you elaborate on, you know, the position that you played and what was going on with that situation?
Yeah. So I wanted to host an event for the city of Atlanta.
Okay.
That was to some of the Atlanta influencers that want to see a better hospitality community, and an event for bartenders and trade. You know, because even though there's people who just collect their 25% and don't do nothing for it, there's a lot that really show up and they are there to service you, you know, and they provide a great experience for you. So for them, I wanted to curate an event that was fun, that was kind of like elevated, but also kick back and cool and casual. So what better way to do it than like a sneaker ball kind of event, right? Where you can dress up, wear a nice suit, wear, you know, a nice dress, and with your favorite kicks, your favorite sneakers, right? And so in the ideal of creating this concept, you know, I knew exactly where I wanted to do it. I wanted to do it at the Thompson Hotel, just at the rooftop, because I love the vibe at the Tesoray.
Crazy establishment.
Yeah, and then, you know, a really good friend of mine, my sister Tondi, she's the bartender there and beverage director there at the Thompson Hotel, and I knew she would help curate an amazing experience, and she loves always giving back to the hospitality community as well. So we had a location, I had a vision, you know, I had an idea, we pulled it together, and we was brainstorming about it. I was reaching out to two of my brothers, Marcel and Melvin from True Blood, and you know these
Shout
are.
out to the twins.
Hey man,
What's
look!
up, twins?
Shout out to the twins, man, because look, me and these brothers go back. I mean, probably almost 20 years. You know,
Same.
Yeah, and we first met at the Metropolitan Loft. I used to have a loft over at the Metropolitan
That's in
Loft.
our neighborhood. That's our backyard.
Yeah. So I used to have kind of like a little creative space there. It was like my living workspace. I literally like lived upstairs and rented out creative space downstairs for like producers, artists, photographers, videographers. So I was reaching out to, you know, when we were brainstorming, you know, over some Hennessy and some food, you know. We were talking about, you know, like what can we do to, who can we bring to help elevate this situation? And it was like, okay, we can bring in like, you know, Foot Action or like Foot Locker or like some other brands to like help make this a cool experience. But like, what's really going to resonate with Atlanta? You know, what's really going to connect with people? And so we started talking about some like local designers and that really have their pulse on community and what's latest trends in fashion. And so a conversation between, I believe, the two of you and the twins put it together and brought Ordinary Odds to the table. And as soon as, you know, I had a conversation on the phone with everyone in the team, and as soon as I started like looking at the pages and some of the designs and some of the sneakers, I was like, oh hell yeah, let's go. Because one, you know, not only is, you know, what they're doing is extreme, like Ordinary Odds is extremely dope, and their fashion is really dope, and they're high, and sense on like have forward thinking of what's trending and what will be a trend. I just really appreciated the making the genuine connections, because it is a community and it is making genuine connections, and that's how we build, and we build together, you know. So it was a great event, you know. One of the things I didn't mention is, you know, one of my roles in this hospitality.
Boy, I was going to ask you about that.
Get right over that.
Boy, he glossed over having some Hennessy and some food.
Yeah, so.
Like, how did Hennessy and the NBA come to the table?
So I brought the Hennessy and the NBA to the table because I had the pleasure to be Hennessy's national ambassador. And so I've been Hennessy's national ambassador for almost 3.5 years now.
Nice.
Hold on, man. Hold on. Did y'all hear this man started his mixology career as quote unquote an intern for some of the best in the business. And over time, dedication, commitment to that craft,
Yeah.
you became the what for
National Hennessy ambassador, mixologist, and brand educator.
Come on.
for a global brand.
Right.
Global brand, the biggest luxury brand in the world.
Wow.
Yeah. LVMH.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
And shout out to Bernard Arnott. how does something
Shout
like
out,
that
Bernard.
happen, man?
So it happened with exactly what you said. Hard work, dedication, and perfecting your craft, and on a quest for mastering your craft. And when you're trying to master anything, you know that you're always going to be a student. You're always going to have something to learn, right? Because things always change. For me, it happened right after COVID. This was the beginning of how this started. My brother from another mother, Chef Scotty, and shout out to Scott again, man.
Chef Scott again.
So right after COVID, Scott hit me up and was
Who
like,
is Chef Scott? I ain't gonna cut you
Okay.
off, but just let the people
so
know.
if you don't know who Chef Scotty is, just Google it, right? Chef Scotty Ennis is a master of his craft as well. He's a chef by way of Jamaica
Okay,
to Bronx, New York
okay.
to ATL.
Oh.
That's
And ATL is his
That's a
home,
good mix.
you know.
Great mix.
But his heart is also in very much in his home, Jamaica, and also in New York, right?
Okay.
So he reached out to me, and me and Scott have, you know, we've always been fam, and we've done like stuff together, like during COVID, like little underground stuff, and you know, little cocktails and food
Dimly
and
out.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. And but he reached out to me, and it was like close to the end of COVID. You know, when things were slowly starting to really open back up. You know, Atlanta didn't really,
We really didn't
ever really
close,
shut down.
but, yeah.
no. Let's be clear. Atlanta never. COVID came, but Atlanta
Look, soon as
didn't
them
abide to them
stimmies
rules.
hit, the
We
bottles
really
was
didn't.
flying.
We really didn't.
Everybody flocked to Atlanta because Atlanta
Right.
was
Exactly.
Still lit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yes, people still ain't left.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so he reached out to me and he was like, "Bro, where you at?" And I was like, at the time I was in Columbia, South Carolina, working on a project. And then he called me and he was like, "I got a situation." I was like, "Talk to me." And he was like, "I got a building. I'm partnering with some people who fams to me, you know, good friends. And this building, it's 2 buildings that we want to split in half." We got two buildings that we want to split in half, right? He's like, on one side, I'm gonna do the food. You know, I want to do international cuisine. I want to do a mixture of Asian, Afro, Caribbean infusion. I was like, talk to me.
Right, that
You
sounds
know,
delish.
and it's like on the other side, I want you to do your thing. I want you to do whatever you want to do. You know, cocktails, mixology, whatever. And I was like, okay, well, we're gonna do a craft cocktail bar, cigars, and rare spirits, and we're gonna feature cocktails that are like the hero cocktails of different parts of the world. And he was like, I got a name for it. We're gonna call it the Continent.
Man, that sounds like some Cool World
Look,
collaboration. Dang.
so the Continent restaurant and cigar lounge just on Buford Highway, where you'll find, you know, I call Buford Highway like the international
It is,
highway. You can
literally.
find, no matter where you're from, you're gonna
Any.
find your spot
Yeah.
on Buford
Telling you.
Highway
Yeah.
for sure.
If y'all
And
ain't
it's
never
been that way for years.
if y'all ain't never rode up Buford Highway
Look.
in Atlanta, boy, you will find everything.
Look, you get a
from
tour of the
Africans
world.
Yeah, for sure.
to Hispanics to whites,
Everybody.
to blacks, everybody's on Buford
Strip
Highway.
clubs, everything.
Everything.
Anything
Like,
is on Buford
after
Highway.
hours,
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling
Don't
you.
stop.
So, just drop by the Continent.
Yeah. So we put a lot of love into the Continent, and shout out to Jay and Aaliyah for, you know, really having a vision and backing Chef's vision, and also backing my vision. And so we got into opening the Continent, and immediately it was a hit. because one, Chef has a huge following now. Chef just recently came off of winning.
Okay.
Season 18 of Hell's Kitchen.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's a huge accomplishment.
Right.
Huge
Yeah.
Oh,
accomplishment.
we're gonna have to sit down with Chef.
And this
Yeah,
was
for
this
sure.
was like a competition where rookies versus the veterans.
Oh,
And
And
he won.
here come the rookie,
and he won.
you know, by way of Jamaica from New York to ATL, stepping in to some of the finest chefs in the world and murdering.
That's what
what's
they call a
up.
big step.
Right, for real.
You know?
That's what's up.
Yeah,
Big stepping on him.
He stepped hard. So, you know, so we opened Continent. It was really great. A beautiful concept. People love it. To this day, you know, go to Continent, Atlanta, check it out. Try the oxtail lo mein. Trust me,
Oh,
you will not be disappointed.
oxtail lo mein.
Yes.
Come on with that.
And you'll see, you might see some,
Right. I want some.
look, you might see some other oxtail lo mein or oxtail pasta popping up on menus, but look,
It ain't
know the
right.
originator
Right.
of oxtail lo mein was Chef Scotland. He
Okay.
created that.
That's what's up.
But it's great dishes, you know, it's like escabeche lobster and, you know, callaloo gnocchi, and like he just does all these really cool things, blending and infusing, you know, different cultures in food, you know, and then on the cocktail side, I was doing my thing. You know, I'm doing tableside bar cart service. I'm pulling up. I'm chopping ice in front of you. You know, I'm setting stuff on fire. I'm smoking drinks. I'm making it an experience because that's what I want, you know. And, you know, I'm doing classics, but then I'm also like, okay,
You
you
saying
know.
classes?
Classic.
Oh, classics.
Yes, so
Okay.
I'm doing like classic cocktails, modern classic cocktails, riffs on like traditional cocktails, but doing like my own version of it. And then I'm just making signature cocktails for people. Like, what do you drink? What do you normally like? You like rum? You like tequila? You like vodka? What you like? More citrus, boozy? You know, whatever. You know, and then I'll make something personally for you. And make a long story short, for restaurants, if you want brand support, if you want brands to support your establishment,
Listen.
Here comes a gym.
put their cocktails on your menu.
Okay.
Don't have it's made with cognac. Put it's made with Hennessy.
There you
Right.
go.
You know, and then have other brands from that company. Like Moet Hennessy, you know, they have Belvedere. They have
Right.
you know,
Customize
Woodinville.
your menu.
Be intentional. You know,
Yeah.
if you want to build relationships, then be intentional about these
Exactly.
relationships. You know, and because brands, you know, they may come and spend a little money with you, but if you really want to build a relationship and create a long-term relationship, give them what they need, and they're going to give you what you need and what
Yep.
you need.
So you're saying full access
If you want full access,
Yeah.
if you want a brand to be 1,000% behind you,
with you.
A partner.
Identify your partner. Give
Yeah.
them full access.
yeah.
And let the chips fall where they may. That's what I hear.
And don't be, you know, excuse my language, don't be a brand whore.
Say it again for the people in the back, man. Say it again.
Don't be a brand whore.
Don't date everybody.
Like, don't
You wanna-
just jump and say, okay, they're gonna give me $500 today, so I'm doing this. Okay, they now
Yeah.
this brand comes and they're gonna give me, you know, $1,000. Like, okay, you can do that all day
Yeah.
long, but that's gonna run out.
You can date. You can date out here.
Right.
You can. You
know?
can. Oh, I want to be with this and that, but hey, figure
down.
out who your
Yeah,
person is
yeah.
and stick with
Settle
that.
down.
Figure out your partner.
Right.
You know, lock in.
Y'all here, Mike.
Settle down.
y'all here. It's not me. He said it. Don't be a brand whore.
Look, and so when you do that, now the brands want to support you.
Okay.
Now because you making them look good, especially if you take pride in your work and your craft. Now you're showing up in a way that they.
Welcome to Cool World,
I'm True Davis.
and I am Willie Millions. And Cool World is the place where dreamers live, and where artists, creatives, and leaders connect.
Through our creative media, curated spaces, and cool products, our unique approach of digital and physical products directly touch consumers.
And they want to see what's going on in Atlanta. The local teams are going to take them to places that make them look good.
Right.
That's got a Hennessy cocktail on the menu. They got Moet. They got Belvedere. They got, you know,
coming from the
Woodinville.
ambassador. He knows.
This
National.
is, you know, this is part of the code. You know, it's like, so when brands know that you have that, they're going to bring their people to that, you know, to that establishment. They brought them to the continent multiple times. It's like, man, you got to see this guy Mike do this like old fashioned, and did these miniature cocktail flights and all these cool little things. And I did that, and I hosted like 3 dinners for like a lot of executives at Moet Hennessy. By the 3rd dinner, some of the executive team was like, "Hey, you ever worked for a liquor brand before?" I was like, "No, never have." I was like, "I've been approached by it, but none of them really had the right fit. It just didn't feel like me." And they were like, "How you feel about jumping on a Zoom call and talking about opportunities and possibilities with Moet Hennessy?" Like, let's talk.
So you all were intentional about building a relationship with Moet Hennessy in the beginning?
For sure.
Okay, and then that transpired into them seeing your potential.
That transpired into them becoming a partner with the company, with Continent.
Oh, wow.
And supporting Continent when they need events and they have activations and they have marketing dollars that they need to invest in holiday events or whatever. They look for their partners.
Okay.
They're not just gonna go to any random place. You ain't bought no Hennessy from us. Why we gonna come spend some money from you?
This is
He's dropping gems.
vital information.
Yeah, it's like so we built a great partnership with them, and then they took notice outside of the partnership to what I was doing.
Okay.
As a craft and with cocktails, and after jumping on the calls, like it was crazy. The first call I had on the Zoom call, it was like 25 people on the call. And it's like people from all different parts of the department, different teams, whatever. And
were you intimidated?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
It was a lot.
It's a global brand.
Yeah,
so I just had to
it's
ask
a global
that.
brand. I don't know what to expect, and they're really just asking you random questions. They're really mostly concerned about your life and your lifestyle.
Like what? Give us an example.
They're like, so Mike, where do you see your career going in hospitality? What got you started in bartending? What are some of the things that you want to do? And and these questions were very easy for me to answer because my story is very simple. I'm a creator, I'm an artist, and you give me different tools to create and express myself, whether it's a computer, whether it's a paintbrush, whether it's a pencil, or whether it's a cocktail that I'm crafting for someone.
Yeah.
It's still an art. It's still a craft. And it's a self-expression of that, And so it was very easy for me to share my passion for creativity.
That's cool.
To them.
That's why it was easy for them to be like, yes, he's
Yeah,
the one.
yeah, yeah.
He's the one.
Identified you based upon your passion.
Yeah,
Exactly.
for sure.
Your passion leaked out or say bust out, when they were asking you these questions.
Yeah, and so, it went down to like, at every call it got smaller and smaller. And
How
then
many
like
calls?
it was 3 calls.
Okay, so
And
that
then
was
the second
interview process.
and then the second call it was less people, and they wanted me to make a cocktail for them on camera. So that was a little nervous because sometimes I get the shakes, so I had to take a little shot before the interview.
Right.
Yeah.
I let them know that too. I took the shot on it. But yeah, so by the 3rd call, it was like only 4 people on the call.
Wow.
And these were like the people.
They're the bigwigs.
They the bigwigs.
Decision makers.
For sure. And this is for the the globe.
Okay.
And so they were like, by the end of the call, they were like, Mike, we've spoken with a lot of people. And it's like, but we connected with you. We believe in you. We love your story. And we love that this is not the end of your story. And we want to be a part of your story. We want to offer you the position of Hennessy's National Ambassador, Mixologist, and Brand Educator.
What did you do after that? Like I'm trying to be there with you. I wasn't there, but how was your reaction?
So,
Just keeping it 100.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
So one, my heart's about to like bust out of my chest,
For
right?
real.
To keep it cool, like I'm not desperate or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, she likes me.
Oh, yeah.
She really likes me.
Right.
So
The dream girl.
No, but it was a moment, and I was like, in my head,
Yeah.
I didn't want to, automatically commit to that because one, like, okay, what we talking?
Hold on.
Okay.
Were you considering turning her down at the altar? Like, hold on.
No, I was considering that she was in this like I was in this.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
Make sure
You
we
just
both-
wanna
I wanted to make sure
your
we on the
dream
same
girl
page.
wins.
Because
Yeah.
I got stuff going on too.
That's
Right.
right.
I got a
You
life
motion.
going
You
on
got
too. I
motion.
got
Yeah.
motion in my life too, you know? And when I love hard. So
Right.
if we gonna do this,
Yeah.
you know, I'm gonna
Be
be
on the
all
same
in. Or
page.
you gonna be all in.
Right.
Okay.
And so I just wanted to know, you know, what are some of the benefits? What the money looking like?
Right.
What the money looking like? You know?
Always.
And you know, and give me some ideas of like exactly what you expect of me.
Your role.
Yeah. What is my role? What do you see me? You know, giving 100%. How does that look? And so after I had that conversation, I felt good about it.
Okay.
And then you know it was a Friday, and then and they pretty much told me, well, Mike, I don't know if you checked your email yet, but we have an offer letter that we sent to your email. Take your time, take the weekend, get back to us Monday, and let us know what you think. I was like, okay. I hung up the call.
Hey.
I walked
You was
over to
smiling like it.
you know,
Ain't nothing like a
stepped
good
away,
old
went
offer
back to
letter.
my laptop,
Yeah.
pulled up the email. I looked at the offer letter and I was like, shit. When we start, let's go.
That's right.
Let's go, Henny.
That boy was Russell Wilson. That's right.
But look, no, it also in the back of my head too, you know, I also have been developing something and creating something really special, and that's the continent
Yeah.
with my brother Chef. So here's the thing, the flip side about working with brands, there is a huge conflict of interest by working with restaurants.
Because they offer.
Because they're technically their accounts. These are their clients.
Gotcha.
You know, so by a direct employee that works for a liquor brand can't work with
A
a restaurant
Yeah.
or other brands. So you're like exclusive now.
Whoa. Date
It's like-
me or don't date me.
Yeah, it's like, no, you mine.
Right.
You know,
We
tell
get
them we go
married.
together.
Right.
Hey.
Put a ring on it.
Sexy ring.
Yeah, like it was like that. So what I did is I went back and talked to my team at Continent. I talked to Chef, and you know I told them about it and wanted to get their feedback, and they were like, "Bro, this is an opportunity.
That for real.
Go for it."
Yeah.
You know, we had already built something that we feel like was in the process that we could almost like put this on cruise control and let it grow. And then we also were working on other things. And so I thought it was a great opportunity. My team thought it was a great opportunity, and I took it. And it was a very, a really proud moment for myself. Because sometimes we
bet.
move so fast, we don't stop and like just think about like and give
Appreciate
ourselves
it. Yeah.
appreciation for what we've done. And that was one of the few times that I stopped and been like, damn, Mike,
Just really was like, I'm grateful for like
know,
what I
you know,
accomplished.
God is
Mike
good.
won the
Yeah.
Super Bowl. How long did you celebrate for? How long? Was it a week?
Hey,
Was
man,
it?
I'm still drinking Hennessy. man.
Okay. Hey, speaking of.
Yeah,
Right.
and then you know, and so that opened up, you know, also too. I didn't mention too, as part of my title when I was saying, you know, mixologist. I'm also to the world of being an author and a publisher.
Hold on.
Wait a minute, you got a book out?
I do.
How you gloss over that?
I forgot to
No.
tell
That's
y'all.
a big deal.
Right.
I'm just an author.
it's-
What's the book title?
So
and
the
what's it about?
so the book is called Art of the Mix. And two things.
Supposed to have that with you.
I know,
Right,
right?
where's that?
So I'm out of
We
my
love
hard
coffee
copies,
tables.
but there's a
Okay.
digital copy
Okay.
that you can
Okay.
get on Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
Well, we gonna get us
We'll
a
put
hard
that-
copy
we'll
so we
put
can
that
put it
in
here.
here.
I'll bring a
Yeah.
copy here for
For
you.
sure.
But the book is basically a step-by-step guide. It's called The Art of the Mix, the art of mastering mixology, right? And this is kind of like I shared in this kind of book almost like as a guide to repeat this or give you a foundation of the way that my career and how I got to where I wanted to go as a bartender, and as a successful hospitality professional.
Nice.
That's very interesting. And I think, because we have a lot of like, I don't know, mixologists come through. We have this thing that we're curating called the Coolest Happy Hour.
Okay.
So the mixologists come through and they create custom cocktails and they allow for our community to,
Try
you know,
them out.
try and sample the curations that they make. I think you know, in honor of what's happening right now with that book, I think we need to get that to all the mixologists in our community. I think that would be a cool thing.
Well, I
Did you
got
do
you. I'll drop off a case of
signing or anything? Did you do that?
We gonna have to do a book
no,
signing
we
and
should do
everything.
that.
Yeah, let's do a
I haven't
signing
did that,
and have
yeah.
a little mix out. Oh,
Yes.
we gonna put that
We
together.
gonna put
do
that
it.
together.
put that together.
See how her mind works.
I'm ready.
But see, even in the book, like I talk about things like, you know, it starts out like the fundamentals, you know, the basics of bartending. Here's your toolkit, all the tools that every bartender must have. Here's, you know, a breakdown of every type of spirit: rum, tequila, vodka, bourbon, and you know, and what these spirits are. And then it goes into, you know, steps of service. When a person enters the restaurant, to the time they sit down, to the time you give them the check, to the time they leave, what are real steps of service to make these memorable moments and
needs to
experience?
Process.
Everybody needs
It's a
to
process to it.
Yeah.
You know?
It's what these folks need.
It is,
Yeah.
and it is a system to this.
Yeah,
So
for
listen,
sure.
he's created a collective that's allowing for, you know, the hospitality industry to better their, you know, client, you know, interaction. But this book is what y'all need. Y'all need to read this
This is the guide.
book.
This is the guide.
Right, in the industry.
He is the godfather of hospitality. I'm gonna say that on record.
It's on wax.
You know, yeah.
Got it.
Hey man, I appreciate
Godfather of
that.
hospitality.
Yeah, and then you know, it is crazy because like I really dove into like some of my experiences and was just thinking about the whole process. And I even have a section that talks about like, you know, there's a section in a chapter called Hospitality and Humanity.
Wow.
And it talks about what I was talking about. Like I really feel no matter what your business is, no matter what your profession or your goals, you should at least spend some time in the service industry, no matter what that is, just to be a better fucking human being
Yep.
and to learn how to connect with people.
I
agree.
With that.
You know,
I
wholeheartedly, for sure.
Because
For
what
sure.
we do is in the hospitality
Yeah,
industry.
yeah.
We started our space as an Airbnb.
Okay.
We transitioned it into a space where creatives, artists, influencers could come and book time to, you know, have meetings, video shoots, photo shoots, things like that.
Movies,
But
everything's been
when
here.
I tell you, hospitality, we have to understand to make the stay in the space a welcoming space. So hospitality is it.
It is.
You know, we have 5-star reviews.
Hey,
you know,
Yep, every
hey.
time.
over 75 of those things.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I agree with you. Every company, no matter what they're doing, need to have an understanding of hospitality and humanity.
Yeah,
You saying?
for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
I like that.
And even, you know, like I was talking about learning from like the OGs when I first started. One of the last sections in the book is old school versus new school.
Whoa.
And this is like, okay, you got young hot guns coming in the industry. You know, it's a new day and age. You got your star tenders who all on social media,
Star tenders, there you
and
go.
you know all this cool stuff. But there's also these OGs who have been doing this for years that, youngster, you can learn a little something.
Yeah,
Right.
You can learn,
you
you know.
gotta tap in.
Yeah, exactly. So, and also vice versa. You got these old guys, like, you know, to say you can't teach the old dog
dog
new
new
tricks. Well,
tricks.
that's
Definitely can't.
But if they're open
Willing,
to it, right,
yeah.
and they respect you, and you show them respect,
That you have
There's a
value.
beautiful line
Yeah.
in the middle that where a young bartender, a young hospitality professional, or anybody in business, as a younger person in business, or you know, coming into anything, there is a lot that you can learn from the traditional values and the ways that older or OG does it, right? But in the same time, there's also innovation coming from that youngster.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the OG can learn a lot about innovation and what's going on today that they may not be in tune to.
And that's really in any field.
any industry.
Yeah, for real. I
Does
agree
Mike
with it.
Haze have mentees?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so speaking of that, the collective I was talking about, right? So I'm starting with a collective of people and the twins as well, Marcel and Melvin. We are starting a collective, right?
Okay.
And we're launching it the first of the year. So this is
2025, January.
2025 January, right?
What's the collective called?
And this is the first time we're speaking on it.
Oh, really?
Man, this is exclusive.
This is the
What?
first
That's
time
intel.
that we're speaking on it. And this is the first time that I am announcing that come 2025, I will no longer be Hennessy's ambassador.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And the reason why is because in that book that I talk about, one of the things in the process I talk about, you should become a brand ambassador.
Yeah.
And why you should become a brand ambassador. Because the brand will help you build your brand.
For sure.
And there's a lot that you can learn about how the industry functions and how you get the insights of what these big companies do, right? But what I've seen and where I'm going
Yeah.
is where my goals have been taking me. And,
Love
and that has been following my own blueprint to start my agency.
Nice.
That agency is called 404 Hospitality.
Wow.
Hospitality.
Yeah, and the reason it's called 404 Hospitality is, one, Atlanta really does influence everything, right?
Hey, man, shout out.
And the reason why, and Atlanta gets attacked about its hospitality, right?
We did that too.
We have.
Everybody does. I do.
Yeah.
I teach.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I educate, and I be on people's ass about hospitality, you know, because I've seen what it can do and what it will destroy. You know, if it's done right, this is what can happen. If it's done wrong, you can lose everything.
Yep.
Especially with restaurant owners, people put all their passion, time, and money into these businesses.
That's what happens when
and
you
it can
pop
get
up and
lost
close.
by one
Yep.
bad hire,
Yep,
Man,
for
what?
sure.
Man, I
one
think-
bad
Sure.
review.
I'm
Yep.
telling you.
Yep.
Like
I've
Keith
seen
Lee
it.
walk in
For
and
For real. For real. That's why they be popping up, and then you
Man,
see it
I'm
one
telling
time,
you.
and they here for a year, and then they close.
yeah. So I wanted to start an agency to help with that, and this is a collective. It's 404 Hospitality, and we are a creative marketing and consulting company for the food and beverage industry.
So that's
Nice.
full service. That's
Full
like
service. And it offers beverage consulting, where you want to create a menu signature to your establishment. You want to train your staff, and not just train them, but you want them to become certified bartenders.
Okay.
And after they become certified bartenders, do you want them to get certified in wine and spirits? After that, do you want them to become master mixologists? We can train you and educate you and certify you to become this, because I'm a certified educator in hospitality. We can teach you on tips. We can teach you on safe serve.
Yeah.
We can teach you on, also, we have teams that are going to help us work with branding and content creation, marketing, concept
That's
development.
important. How do you feel about this new content age that we're living in?
Look, it's
Are you embracing it?
I am. You have to.
Yeah, you have to.
You have to
To move forward,
If you
yeah.
don't, you
telling you.
if you
Get left
if you can be
behind.
hard headed,
Yeah.
you're gonna get left
Because we
behind.
come from that era where we wasn't doing a lot of content. man. You don't talk about the
Still
things
gotta
that
beat
you're
me over
doing,
the
you
head a
just
little
move,
bit.
you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
One of my
But
things-
this is different.
One of the things I talked when I'm like talking to like restaurants and bars about their beverage program, and I'm like, no offense, but this is a boring cocktail.
Yeah.
There's nothing that I want to take up. I can't. That's not gonna be none of my content on
Yeah.
my social media. Like I tell people, I laugh about it. I'm like, man, taking pictures of your food and drinks is like the new prayer before you eat, before
real.
you drink. People
real.
gonna pull out their phone
Yep.
before, like you take your girl out or you take your man out. It's like before you touch that plate,
Take a
somebody
picture.
got to get a picture of
If
it,
it's
right?
not picture worthy,
So that's the same with cocktails. Like you create a beautiful cocktail, now it becomes content. Now it becomes something beautiful. Like, hey, look what I'm drinking. Look at this beautiful cocktail. And there is no price or amount of value that you can put on great content, right? So you can have a $14 cocktail or a $24 cocktail. Long as it's beautiful, people are gonna pay whatever for that content,
I
for
agree.
that experience,
I
right?
agree.
But you want it to be great, you want it to be premium, and you want it to be made with like fresh juices, fresh ingredients. That's
Fresh.
key.
That's why I sat
That's
my-
very
my
key.
drink down there.
No, you fine. Look,
I kind of
Speaking
knew
of,
it
did
was
you want a
coming.
drink? 'Cause we was
No.
gonna give you a drink. I
Yeah,
just
we-
didn't want to make a lot of
well,
noise while you
let's go ahead and have a drink. But before we do, I came bearing gifts.
This is a man of gifts.
So-
This is how you come to
Okay.
a cool cast.
a cool conversation.
conversation.
So what we have here is 2 gift
See,
bags.
we got caught in the Hennessy. He's still the ambassador, y'all. The global. See what we got, man. Dad would love what's happening right now.
Oh, this is nice.
So right now, this is the.
King.
Hey, man.
Hey.
Nice.
Now, Oh, Mike, this. Hey,
Aren't you happy you got one of these?
I got this one from the sneaker bar.
Okay,
And I
nice.
killed it.
Oh,
So I'm glad
Cooked
to
it.
have another one. I killed it.
look, so two things. One, this is showcasing two partnerships. One partnership is Hennessy with the NBA, which is the official spirit of the NBA. And then you have our new limited edition. This is the
king of the NBA.
LeBron James edition, who helped design the bottle, who helped design the packaging.
Nice.
And this is a new partnership. LeBron is now Hennessy's new global ambassador.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
So big shout out to the king, man.
Let me see the bottle.
Yeah, the bottle's beautiful.
Ooh. It's fancy.
It's fancy, man. We gonna make a cocktail. What goes good with that?
One, it's perfect neater on the rocks.
Okay.
Because it's Hennessy. It's some of the finest cognac on the planet,
Let's
you know.
toast to that.
All right.
But what's really exciting for me is that I'm able to start this new journey with my agency,
Okay.
and then continue to still work with my Hennessy family.
Wow.
So it won't just be about Hennessy. It'll be about any brand that is a premium brand that we will work with to help elevate their consumer experience, to get them placement in restaurants, in bars, and and also just events that connect more with community culture and bartenders and lifestyle.
Well, I'm glad that you could bring that intel, that exclusive here to this cool conversation. We are ecstatic, and 2025 is going to be a great year.
It for sure is.
It's gonna be a great year. Welcome to Cool World, that place where dreamers live.
Years. However, again, Hennessy ages theirs up to 15 years.
15 years?
15. So when you're drinking a Hennessy VSOP, it's aged up to 15.
15 years. Hey, man. We're gonna end. This has been a cool conversation. I hope y'all have learned something, man. Y'all got to know Mike Haze. You know, this 404 hospitality, y'all definitely look out for that. Branding, evolution, everything.
Shout
cool.
out to the collective.
Shout out to cool culture.
Come on.
Cheers, salute, too. Cheers, salute.
That's it.
And look, I know my brother is gonna give me shit if I don't leave with my toast.
Okay.
Okay.
Every time I'm leaving an event, if I don't do my toast, look, Trent, every time if he don't do my toast, he give me this look like, bro, we can't leave yet. We can't leave yet.
What's
What's
All
the
right.
toast?
So bear with me, because it can be a little scary at first.
okay?
But trust me. Here's to drinking, cheating, stealing, and killing. If you must cheat, then may you cheat death. If you must steal, may you steal the heart of the one you love. If you must kill, may you kill protecting your brothers and sisters. And if you must drink, then may you drink the fucking best.
Okay.
Salute. Cheers.
Salute.
Hey,
that.
we're gonna end on that one. Hey. And there you have it. Another cool conversation.